Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, then welcome back, and if you are new, then welcome aboard. Today, I am rocking some khaki in honor of it being 6 years since I started my college program at Walt Disney World as a Jungle Cruise skipper. We all know, and Ajax just jumped up on the printer. Can you stop creaking, please? Thank you. So we all know that the Jungle Cruise skippers rock the khaki potato sacks, and we look fabulous doing it. But what else really goes into being a skipper? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what it's really like to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. So the first thing everyone knows, it's one of the most requested and most highly coveted jobs at Walt Disney World, and Disneyland too for that matter. But everyone knows who the Jungle Cruise skippers are, especially if they're big Disney fans, and everyone wants to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. I did not want to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. I wanted to work at the Haunted Mansion because I used to wear really dark eye makeup. This is still kind of dark, you can probably tell that, but and I don't like to smile, so I thought that working at the Haunted Mansion would be like the best of both worlds. I could look kind of creepy and not have to smile all the time. So I got to my college program and they said, you are going to be working at Adventureland or Liberty Square area, and I was like, yes, I'm pumped. Haunted Mansion, here we come. You have a day after traditions where you just kind of go in and get acquainted with your park, and since I was going to be working at Adventureland and Liberty Square, obviously that was Magic Kingdom, so I was walking around Magic Kingdom kind of getting to know it with the leaders, and the lovely leader Ben, who has probably led everyone and their brother through Magic Kingdom on these tours, he said, are you excited to be a skipper? And I literally had like a swoozy moment. You're like, hola. Excuse me, what? Meaghan doesn't do khaki. Meaghan doesn't do jokes. Meaghan doesn't do boats. Like, I don't do water. I don't like boats. I'm kind of terrified of boats, to be honest. And I'm not a funny person. You could probably tell that from the way that I project myself. I'm not funny. I get that. I know that about myself, and that is just a truth that I have learned to live with. The fact that they had picked me to be Jungle Cruise skipper, I thought someone somewhere had made a serious error. And I was like, surely this is not a thing. However, clearly it was. And I started training to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. And what actually goes into that training? You would assume that you're going to have to learn the jokes or make up some jokes or whatever, but there's a lot more that goes into being a skipper. You don't actually just stay on the boat all day. You have breaks and you go from land to boat rotations, which means you would work at positions like greeter, where you stand out front and you're like, hey guys, welcome to the world famous Jungle Cruise, and people can come up and ask you, people come up and ask, what is this ride? And then I usually took that opportunity to tell them, you're going to be on a boat for 10 minutes with a skipper who's going to deliver a script of really bad jokes. They're going to be terrible puns, and if you like that kind of thing, great. If not, you might want to go do something. I let people know up front what it was so that they didn't get on later and be like, what was that? So you could be working a greeter position. You could be working at the Fast Pass, which when I was there, you had the actual paper Fast Passes that you would take from people and move along, but now they've got the kiosks where you monitor that. You could be working at Jungle Cruise. It is ADA accessible, so you could be working at the handicapped line. So when people came through that had a wheelchair and ECV, you could work with them. You could also be at Grouper, Merge, the position where the Fast Pass and the standby lines meet, so you have to figure out how to do that, and that's one of the most complicated positions. I've mentioned in multiple videos before that's like the person who gets everything gets everyone on the boats, and that's kind of the hub of the efficiency is the grouper position. So if the grouper's not being efficient, the ride isn't going to run efficiently, and you're going to have lines and backups, and it's going to be a pain. You could also be unload or load, which is the people who are standing at the boat helping you get on the boat and helping you get off the boat. So all of those are land positions. Those are things that you're not going to be on a boat to do. And then everything else obviously is you're going to be on a boat. And how you know where you're going is you get a slip of paper that starts rotation, and someone will come around and they'll say, hey, you're at greeter, now I'm taking over your position at greeter, and then you go to the next spot on the list and you hand it to the next person. And it goes through until everyone has moved through the positions. People who are on land get on boats, people who are on boats come to land, and usually you're not going to do more than 2 or 3 boats in a row before rotation comes through, and that keeps you from having to do too many boats at once. So when you start training, you're going to have a coordinator who has also been trained to train people, and they're going to be a trainer, obviously, and they will kind of walk you through all these positions, and you're going to start on land positions and you're going to learn those, and that's going to be the easiest thing to learn because you're not having to do a script. You're just kind of learning to greet people and learning to load people onto boats and help them off of boats, that kind of thing. So that's going to be the easiest thing, but then you get to move to learning the boats. And that's going to be obviously what you expect when you're a skipper. So the first thing that you have to learn is to dock. That's going to be the first lesson that they teach you in training. Your coordinator, your trainer is going to scream dock at you 100,000 times, and that's just where you learn to control the boat. You learn to dock the boat, and you have to make sure that it is still enough for people to get it off, because it is a boat. It has an engine. It's going to keep moving. It's going to try to go forward, and if you bump it to reverse, it's going to try to go backwards. So you have to learn to keep that still so that people can get on and off the boats. And obviously, you're not loading people onto your boats just yet. You are just learning with your trainer and you. And if you have any other people who are training with that same person, that's the only people on the boat at the time while you learn to figure out how to actually make it stand still. You have all of the controls on the boats that you learn about, and all that, the lights and your microphone and how all of that good stuff works. And then you get to the good stuff. You get to learn to go through the jungle, and you get to learn the show scenes. And you get your 25-page long spiel of jokes and facts and everything. And you do not technically write your own jokes. Some people do throw their own fun stuff in there. Most people don't, because it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be uniform, and it's supposed to be the same experience for everyone. So that's why there's a script, and you're supposed to stick to that. And if you're not, that's what they call you have a non-OG boat. It's not by the script, and mine was OG. I was pretty boring. I stayed with the script. I didn't want to get in trouble, so I just went with the jokes that they had and memorized my 25 pages, and I had my spiel, and that was it. But some people do branch out a little bit and have some fun things that they slip in there sometimes. So once you have your spiel and you know the words, you're going to practice multiple times. You and your trainer, y'all are going to go through the boat or through the jungle with no one on your boat a lot, and that's a dead boat. And you just practice getting the timing down, because a lot of the animals have certain things that they do at certain times, and you have to make sure that your jokes are lining up with when those things happen. And you want to be able to get all of your jokes or your facts in before you leave one show scene and go to the next, because the ultimate sin of a skipper is to show stop. Any skippers know what I'm talking about. If you have another skipper in front of you who stops to make sure that they finish their jokes before they leave the scene, they block up the entire rest of the river, and you've got a traffic jam, and you don't do that. Just don't. And once you've gone through enough, and you've done it for probably 3 or 4 days at this point, you're going to have a manager come ride your boat, and you're going to test, actually present your spiel. You've done some live boats in there at this point too. You had some guests get on, and that first live boat is the most terrifying thing that you will ever do. You get some guests on, you do your spiel. It's going to be terrible. Move on. It'll get better as you go. But then once you have done it for a few days with people on your boat, then you're going to have that manager come on, and they're going to test you and just make sure that you are saying the jokes correctly, you're following all the safety instructions, and you are ready to be a skipper. And then they will let you take off the earning your ears pin or the little ribbon that's behind your name tag, and that no longer says, hey, I'm in training. Then you are officially a Jungle Cruise skipper. That's mainly how you go about being a skipper and what training is like. Some stuff that happens at the jungle that I didn't think happened. Boats can die. Boats can absolutely just shut down, stop moving, we're not moving anymore, and that's super awkward. So you have to wait for another boat to come rescue you if your boat does die, because you can't make your guests swim. You're not gonna say, all right guys, hop out here and swim on in. And the boats have to back up through the jungle. They can't go forward, because then they run into all the boats that are behind you. So you have to wait until everyone who's in front of you gets sent back out. And then the last person is going to get a rescue rope, and they're going to back up through the jungle very carefully, and they're going to hook a rope to the front of your boat, and then they're going to tow you out. Ye old AAA in the jungle. So that happens, and that leads me to, you're going to have favorite and least favorite boats as a skipper. My least favorite was Bertha. Bertha was one of the wheelchair boats, and Bertha died on me right in the middle of the Indian elephant bathing pool, and we sat there and sat there and sat there until everyone else got out and they could send a rescue boat to come get me. And that was a boat that didn't find my jokes funny. No one had warned them what the Jungle Cruise was, so they were not impressed at all, and we sat there and stared at each other for about 15 minutes, and it was great. So I hate Bertha. My most favorite boat, Irma. I love the Irma because the microphone was loud. The speakers on Irma, for whatever reason, were always louder than any of the other speakers. I'm kind of quiet, you know, when I'm trying to project. It's not super loud, especially over the engines on the boats. So having a loud speaker was super helpful because you got people talking over you and trying to yell the jokes out, and Irma fixes that because they can't talk over Irma. So Irma was definitely my favorite. She was also a pretty fast boat when I was there anyway. I mean, she could have slowed down. Now she's getting on up there, I guess, but you could just cruise right through the jungle. There was no worry that you were gonna run out of jokes to tell before you got through a scene because she was moving so slow. Some of the boats were like that. Looking at you, Zelda. You can also have favorite and least favorite jokes. I didn't really have a least favorite joke. They were all pretty terrible, but you love them anyway. But my most favorite joke is actually not... Okay, I'll give you my most favorite joke that's in the script and my most favorite joke overall that's like not in the script, but I still said it. My most favorite joke is when you come through the Indian elephant bathing pool after the elephants come up and squirt at you, and you tell them about the high, low, sea, and dog hibiscuses. I've mentioned that before, but that's my favorite script joke. And my favorite joke that is not technically in the script is when you come to the end of the Jungle Cruise and the skipper is going to tell you to stand up and exit out the door through which you entered and don't cross over anything in the center. There's those crates in the middle there, people step over them and they hit their heads and all that kind of stuff, so we just try to keep people going out the doors that they came in through. So don't step over anything in the middle, that's a fire hazard, you will trip, you will fall, I will laugh, I will get fired. Bad ideas. So that was my favorite joke that was not in the script. I didn't use it all the time. I used it when I had friends on my boat or my family was on my boat or something like that. Someone that I could, like, you know, kind of aim it at so that I wasn't just like being snarky to the entire boat. But I definitely loved that joke, and especially if you get a skipper that can deliver it really well, it's a good one. One more little fun fact about being a Jungle Cruise skipper that people may not know about is you go and you get your skipper bracelets. When I was there, I didn't know that the skipper bracelet was a thing, that you had certain rules that you had to do. You're supposed to go to Canada at Epcot with a skipper who already has their bracelet, and you go and you get one of the little woven bands engraved with skipper on it, and then you are officially a skipper. I just went and got one on my own because I thought it looked cool. I saw like 2 or 3 other people who had them. I don't know if it was like early in the skipper bracelet tradition, but I just went and got one. So I still have my skipper bracelet, still wear that. It's not official, I guess. I guess I am not officially skipper braceleted because I didn't do it by the rules, but I'm gonna count it anyway. But that's a thing that people do. You can't wear them while you're on stage, which is kind of annoying because you wanna wear your skipper bracelet while you're actually skipping, but you can't because it's not part of the Disney look. Some people still try to get away with it. That, you know, they wear it like over there like it's a watch kind of thing. I don't know. You can try to push things if you want. We all know how trying to test the limits of the Disney look went for me. So, yeah. That's kind of some more about what it's like to actually be a Jungle Cruise skipper. How you go through training, what you actually have to do, some of the stuff that can happen to you, and some of the good and the bad about the boats and the jokes and all that good stuff. So, happy 6-year anniversary to me. Can't believe it's been 6 years. Let's hope that I get back to being a cast member one day or go back to Disney World soon in some capacity. But let me know some of your favorite things about the Jungle Cruise, or if you want to know anything about any other rides, any fun facts about any other attractions at Disney World. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.